Welcome, and thank you all for joining us today on the eve of this election. As faith leaders from diverse traditions, we gather as a multi-faith and multi-racial community. We are in solidarity with those who have been marginalized, those who have been scapegoated during this election season. St. Paul's United Methodist Church is a member of PACT, People Acting in Community Together. It is a multi-racial, multi-faith organization that empowers everyday people to create a more just community. PACT is part of the PICO National Network. We stand together today as partners in the Latino Vote Alliance, led by Luna and Working Partnerships USA. We are here with the many important leaders and organizations that are lifting voices through votes. Just take a moment to look around at one another, at this powerful group of people who have come together on behalf of our community. Tonight, we continue to fulfill the commitment to engage first the voters whose voices have been most marginalized. We say to each voter that we engage, each child of God, I see you, I hear you, your voice and your vote matters. We are about freedom in America, and we lift up what that could and should look like, and how to use our own votes to bring us closer to that vision. Tonight we continue that commitment as PACT leaders. Even tonight, we have been out in this neighborhood in downtown San Jose, talking to our neighbors about how they can make a difference in their community through voting. We are at this moment calling voters to be sure that they know where to vote tomorrow, where their polling place is, and that they have a plan on how to get there. Tonight we will hear from those who are doing this work to raise the voices of our valley through their vote.
Hola, buenas noches a todos. Yo estoy aquí para dar testimonio durante todo lo que realizamos durante este proceso de campaña de elecciones. Mi nombre es Alicia Juárez y soy un líder de PAC en la iglesia de Santa María en Gilroy. Soy de México y he vivido en Gilroy por 10 años con mi esposo y mi hijo de 9 años que son ciudadanos. Yo no soy ciudadana, así que no puedo votar, pero he estado trabajando con PAC en Santa María para asegurarme de que las personas que pueden votar sepan de sus derechos y para motivarlos a votar.
Her name is Alicia Juarez, and I am a PAC leader at Santa Maria Church in Gilroy. I am from Mexico, and I have lived in Gilroy for 10 years with my husband and 9-year-old son who are citizens. I am not a citizen, so I cannot vote, but I have been working with PACT in Santa Maria to make sure that people who can vote know their rights and to motivate them to vote.
En el pequeño pueblo donde yo crecí en México no había escuela secundaria. La más cercana estaba a 45 minutos caminando, así que solo a los hombres se les permitía ir a la escuela por 2 razones. La mayoría de los padres opinaban que las mujeres no necesitaban estudios. Sentí que nos discriminaban por ser mujeres, por eso se nos negaba la oportunidad para decidir. Pero yo tuve la suerte de que mis padres opinaran diferente y junto con los padres de mis amigas organizaron un sistema para acompañarnos en el recorrido hacia la escuela por esos campos de maíz tan aislados.
In the small town where I grew up in Mexico, there was no secondary school. The nearest one was a 45-minute walk away, so only men were allowed to go to school, and most parents felt that women did not need studies. I felt we were discriminated against because we were women, so we were denied the opportunity to decide for ourselves. But I was fortunate that my parents had a different opinion, and together with the parents of my friends, they organized a system to accompany us on the way to school for those isolated cornfields.
Hace unas semanas tuvimos un foro electoral en la iglesia de Santa María y les explicamos a los votantes cómo votar. Mi esposo y otras personas de mi comunidad que se han hecho ciudadanos han querido votar, pero no lo habían hecho porque se sienten excluidos y tienen miedo al proceso de votación. Así como un día yo me sentí sin derecho a decidir por mi futuro, ahora yo, como mis padres, quise hacer la diferencia y caminar con las personas. de mi comunidad a través del proceso de votar. Perdón. Ahora yo, como mis padres, quise hacer la diferencia y caminar con las personas de mi comunidad a través del proceso de votar y aprender con ellos sobre las propuestas y las medidas que hay en la boleta. Uno de mis retos al inicio del registro de votantes era que mi esposo se registrara para votar por primera vez, y lo logré un día antes de la fecha límite.
A few weeks ago, we had an electoral forum in Santa Maria, and we explained to the voters how to vote. My husband and other people in my community who have become citizens have wanted to vote, but they have not done so because they feel excluded and are afraid of the voting process, just as one day I felt with no right to decide for my future. Now I, like my parents, wanted to make a difference and walk with the people in my community through the process of voting and learn from them about the proposals and actions that are on the ballot. One of my personal challenges at the beginning of the voter registration drive was for my husband to register to vote for the first time, and I achieved it just one day before the deadline.
Como inmigrantes indocumentados no podemos votar, pero podemos motivar a los que sí pueden hacerlo. Con nuestra voluntad y experiencia de vida como voluntarios y como líderes de PAC podemos hacer la diferencia. Podemos hacer la diferencia al motivar a nuestra gente para que vote, y de esta manera aseguramos un cambio en las cosas que nos afectan a todos.
As undocumented immigrants, we cannot vote, but we can motivate those who can. With our will and life experience as volunteers and as leaders of PACT, we can make the difference by motivating our people to vote. In this way, ensuring a change in the things that affect us all.
Tenemos que caminar juntos cuando el camino es aterrador. Los inmigrantes están siendo generalizados y el odio ha sido despertado contra nosotros. Estamos aquí para trabajar y para apoyar a este país. Todos tenemos derecho a buscar una vida mejor. Gracias.
We have to walk together when the road is scary. Immigrants are being stereotyped and the hate has been awakened against us. We are here to work and support this country. We all have the right to seek a better life. Thank you.
My name is Bishop Oscar Dace. I am the senior pastor at Bible Way Christian Center, and I am the chairman and president of the South Bay Christian Ministers Union, which is the largest African-American organization of churches in the South Bay. The thing I want to share today is about how valuable your vote is. Minorities and African Americans in particular have a long history of struggling for the right to vote here in America. The first Civil Rights Act granted citizenship, but it did not grant the rights to vote. It was in 1869 that the 15th Amendment guaranteed the right to vote, legally guaranteed all citizens, regardless of race. And then the 19th Amendment had to grant the right to vote regardless of gender. In 1965, there was the Voting Rights Act, prohibiting any election practice that denies the right to any citizen to vote. In that span of time, and even since then, every successive election has somehow, some group have engaged in voter suppression, somehow trying to take something that was given to you as a right to somehow minimize that right. The Declaration of Independence guaranteed every person the right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That notion that everyone can see things the way they felt that would best benefit them, and then somehow support it to generate some motivation behind that. Not voting, it challenges the efforts that many people have given to try to see if they can influence this country that they live in. Voting is that one equalizing platform that allows every person a single share. You and I, with that single share, we invest in the future of America. There are going to be those that would try to push your thoughts and ideas to the side, but they themselves only have one share. And with their share, they can vote any way they want. Don't allow others' negative ideas or whatever prevent you from exercising your right to invest in the future of America. Not voting actually shows a callous indifference to the monumental struggles and incredible sacrifices that were made for our opportunities to use it. Voter suppression, while it's not overtly illegal, it is still practiced, and it is, in my opinion, very unfair. Your voting rights being suppressed by others, you can't help that. But your right to vote being suppressed by yourself, it is inexcusable. You have no right to throw your share away. You need to exercise it. Just like I'm going to exercise my right to vote. Being a Christian, I have certain ideas that I would like to push forward, and I will share them with you right now. I'm going to invest in schools and colleges. So I will be voting for things that support school and college. In fact, maybe even getting some of these student loans dealt with. I'm going to vote for families and children and health care. I'm going to vote to support veterans. I myself served in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years. I'm going to vote to support jobs, affordable, good paying jobs, right to work. I'm going to vote to support social justice and social security. I'm going to vote to support peace and not war. I'm going to vote to support affordable housing and reduce mass incarceration and criminal justice reform. I'm going to vote to support the issues that affect my family and friends. And I want to see everyone invest in the future, because those are the issues that I'm investing my share, my vote. And I want you to do the same. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Attar Siddiqui, and I'm the president of the South Bay Islamic Association. I'd like to spend a few minutes explaining why voting is important to me and other Muslim community members. Let me start by sharing with you an incident that took place recently. My first cousin, who chooses to dress modestly and wears a hijab to cover her hair, was in her car at a stoplight. A driver came up to her and shouted, "Go back to where you came from." To which she replied, "I was born in Fort Collins, Colorado." The lesson, of course, is that while someone may look or dress differently than you, they are no less American. This wonderful nation called the United States has been truly the land of opportunity for so many of us. A country that has provided a better life for those who may share a different faith or ethnicity or race than some others. And it is this very diversity that has made America what it is today, a shining example of peoples of various backgrounds coming together and creating an entity whose whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And yet this melting pot we call the US has been hijacked by individuals spewing hateful rhetoric. These individuals seek to keep Muslims such as me out of the country I've called home for 50 years. They demean my friends of Hispanic heritage and my friends of African American background and those of other characteristics which happen to be unlike their own. And amazingly, there is widespread support for these bigoted and discriminatory views. And that makes me sad. Because it is not the America in which I grew up and loved. But we are, after all, a democracy. And therefore we have the opportunity to make our voice heard. And make our voice heard we must. Because if you have the right to vote, and yet don't stand up and do so, you have no right to complain. We need action, not merely words. Meanwhile, Silicon Valley is an area of enormous wealth where creativity and innovation have made and continue to make many people very affluent. And yet it is estimated that 6,500 people here have no home to sleep in, and where our public schools fall near the bottom of the list nationally. So whether it be voting for candidates that seek to unite rather than divide, or measures that will help alleviate the problem of homelessness, or propositions that provide additional resources to improve the quality of our schools, let's hope and pray that tomorrow voters do the right thing and vote for what's better for the greater good than simply for themselves. It is only then that we will once again be known as a land that truly embraces liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Good afternoon, my name is Father John Pego. I'm the Director for Projects for Peace and Justice in the Diocese of San Jose, and I want to thank Antar for your testimony, Bishop Dace and Alicia for your sharing and thoughtful remarks. We want each of you to know that we stand with you, and we will not accept the scapegoating we've experienced of our immigrant, Muslim, and African American and all marginalized sisters and brothers. Our Latino, immigrant, low-income, and faith communities have mobilized in response in the vast economic and racial inequalities in our valley that show up as an affordable housing crisis, the exploitation of workers, inequity in public education, and the need for justice system reform. We are transforming the electorate to reflect our diversity by holding sacred conversations, registering marginalized communities, and offering voter education in immigrant, low-income, and communities of color. Through congregations across America this fall, people of faith have been inviting tens of thousands of voters into person-to-person conversations. PACT has registered over 2,500 voters and had over 10,000 conversations with voters about the issues on the ballot that affect our lives so profoundly. With our PICO network across California, we are the largest volunteer-led voter engagement effort. So let's give a hand to that PACT effort, community organizing. And we've obviously done, we couldn't do it without the work of the labor community and groups like Luna and other groups that are in our community and all the different independent faith action networks in our area, because together with the partners of the Million Voter Project, it is the largest field campaign in California. So I'm going to invite my friends that are here with me. I'm going to invite Alicia to please tomar esta canasta de ballots. And we're going to bless these ballots. Alicia, who is going to be holding them. And Alicia, just hold them up facing the congregation. Everybody, put your hands, both hands in a blessing over these ballots. That we call upon the power of love to conquer hate. We call upon the power of prophetic witness to conquer the din of ignorant speech, scapegoating, and hateful remarks. We call upon the spirit of conversation, dialogue, and listening to conquer the storm of Twitter and one-line responses. We call upon the spirit of wisdom and discernment to conquer the spirit of bigotry, ignorance, and hate. We call upon the spirit of democracy to conquer the spirit of nascent fascism. We have seen the vision of love and community. We have seen the vision of sacred conversations. And we have seen the power of people to talk with their neighbors and to convince others that their participation in this great enterprise that we call democracy might be exercised and franchised for all to participate. And so we call upon your spirit-loving Creator to bless these ballots and to bless those who will vote. We also ask your blessing. We lift our hands even higher to bless those who are doing the phone banking now, that they will have these opportunities to remind their sisters and brothers to go out and to do the right thing, to participate in democracy. And so we ask your blessing upon all of us who are here, leaders throughout this community, black, white, rich, poor, documented, undocumented, Muslim, Christian, Jew, and all those in between, that you bless us all as we stand together as a beautiful Silicon Valley, as a beautiful community that truly upholds the power of love over the power of hate. We ask this in your most holy and sacred name. Amen? Amen. Amen. All right, thank you, everybody.
And now, as the ballot that will be voted on tomorrow, it's a long ballot with many local measures here in Santa Clara County as well as the state. We will have some people speaking about those measures and propositions that they care most about.
Good evening. I'm Maria Noel Fernandez with Working Partnerships USA and Silicon Valley Rising, and a proud member of the Latino Vote Alliance as well. So just a few months ago, we came together to make a commitment to each other and our community that we were going to ensure the voice of Latino families was heard across Santa Clara County. And as we stand here, only hours away from Election Day, I believe we can proudly say we have walked, we have talked, we have prayed, we have even sweat, and we probably even shed a few tears to make sure that the voice of our families are heard this election. Locally, Working Partnerships has talked to over 16,000 voters, and statewide through our State Alliance California calls, we are at nearly 280,000 conversations, with even more coming as we stand here today. Nationally, eyes are on the presidential. And here locally, we have been working to ensure important measures on the ballot are lifted up. And I just want to say, we're saying this over and over again, we must not stop at the top of the ballot. We have to vote down the ballot on issues that are facing our families every day, from issues at the state to in our county and cities. We have had the honor of working on a measure that is tackling one of the most pressing issues of our time, affordable housing. It's actually pretty simple. We believe that everyone should have the opportunity to live in a safe, healthy, affordable home. What do you all think? Do you think? Do you agree with that? That includes our children, whose opportunities to succeed in school and life begin with a stable home. That's why we've been talking to voters every day about the importance of Measure A. It will allow us to create affordable housing opportunities for our most vulnerable communities through a $950 million bond. Our vote tomorrow is about tangible change for our families, but as one community leader said to us, it's also about providing hope. Election day for me is about saying, aquí estamos, we matter, we are here, our voices will be heard, our families, our values, we matter. I am so proud to be here with all of you today and cannot wait to be celebrating with you tomorrow night. But most importantly, we're going to go to sleep with victory tomorrow night, and we're going to get right back up on Wednesday, and we're going to take on the next big issues of our time together. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chavo Bustamante. I'm the Executive Director of Latinos United for a New America, or LUNA as we're known. LUNA is a volunteer grassroots organization working with Latino immigrants in East San Jose to improve the lives of the Latino people in Silicon Valley. I am very proud to be here tonight because one of our objectives, which is to improve civic participation by Latinos. I was reading the news this morning about the projections in terms of the participation of Latinos in the election this year. And it seems like the efforts that we all have been made in terms of promoting people's participation are going to be great, and we're going to be able to make a difference again, not just in the presidential election, but on a lot of the issues that affect the lives of people. We ourselves were able, with a very modest budget, to register more than 650 people. We more than 2,000 doors, and we have made about 2,500 calls to get out people to vote. Tomorrow, when we wake up, after the election, after the votes are counted, I'm going to be very happy because I will know that we did our share to make sure that our people participate in these decisions. A few weeks ago, I was arrested for doing voter registration outside Target on Story and King. And after the incident, several of my friends approached me to ask me if I was angry with the police or if I was going to file a lawsuit. And I said, my response was, why would I want to, bite the hand that fit me? Meaning that they did a favor to me, because by arresting me, they helped us publicize the issue of the importance of registering to vote. The following Saturday after my arrest, I went to make copies to the Zebra. And one of a young Vietnamese gentleman who was the cashier, he said, you know what? I want you to know that I saw you on TV when you got arrested, and because of you, I registered to vote. Tonight, I want to encourage all of you who have not voted yet to vote for Measure E. Measure E is a very modest measure for the city of San Jose that will make sure that employers with 35 or more employees who have any openings for full-time jobs, that those jobs are offered to people working for that particular employee. And one of the things I want you to know about Measure E is that it's not just about making sure that these employers do the right thing by hiring the people who are already working for them. This measure has to do with correcting an injustice. A lot of people in Silicon Valley, especially women, are having to work more than 2 or 3 jobs in order to make a living, to bring enough money so they can put on the table of their families. And this has got to stop. And the way that it's going to stop is if we vote yes on Measure E. So again, for those of you who have not voted yet, please, tomorrow when you go to the polls, when you mark your ballot on Measure E, mark yes. Thank you. Si se puede.
Statewide propositions that will move us closer to our vision for justice, mercy, and opportunity for all. Tomorrow I will be voting yes on Proposition 55, and I invite you to join me. As a mother, I care about this proposition that funds education in the state of California, not only for my children, but for all of the children in our public schools, especially those for whom education can be a path out of poverty. We need to make sure that it is not a path into the pipeline leading to mass incarceration. That is also why I urge you to vote yes on Prop 57 for criminal justice reform. All of this work that is being done in the back of the room here with our phone bankers and others, all of that will continue all the way through the closing of the polls tomorrow. And this work happens because of many friends that come together. And I'd like to introduce you to one friend of the movement and of PICO, Mr. Tom Steyer.
Hi, my name is Tom Steyer. I'm the president of NextGen California. We're an organization dedicated to preventing climate disaster and promoting prosperity for every Californian. I am actually incredibly excited about tomorrow, because I think tomorrow there will be a new electorate showing up at the polls in California. It will be a much more